Everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the feature race at Del Mar on Thursday. Race number 7, the Fleet Treat. This is a race for California-bred 3-year-old fillies. They're going 7/8 of a mile, and as we take a look at the field, Mike, there's a potential superstar in this race. The number 3 Ceiling Crusher is a perfect 4 for 4 in her career. She's won her last 2 starts by, wait for it, a combined 32.5 lengths. She's really good.
She's looked, really, really good, particularly in the last 2, Dan. A couple of stakes races versus Calbreds in the spring at Santa Anita. Man, those fields just could not stay with her early, and she opened up huge leads through the stretch. She gets to cut back here. I don't see how it makes a difference. She's way the horse to beat.
And she has wonderful tactical speed as we take a look at our Timeform US pace projector for our DRF race of the day for Thursday. Big Pond, the 6, has some speed. Ceiling Crusher's not going to be far behind. The number 1, Chismosa, has the LP designation, which indicates she has the fastest late Timeform US pace rating. But if Ceiling Crusher breaks, she gets a good trip.
Yeah, and that's one of her big advantages, that she does have really easy speed early in her races. There probably is a really good trip coming from her here, Dan. We'll see if anybody can jump up enough to beat her. Maybe that 6, Big Pond, who could make the lead in here. I mean, maybe she's the main danger in this race.
The gossip around the track is that the number 1, Chismosa, really loves life at Del Mar, and why not? She's a perfect 3 for 3 over the surface, and she's coming into this race in really good form. Here's her most recent effort. Now, this is a graded stakes race against Ida, who has been on a winning streak for a long time. Chismosa is a true one-run closing sprinter. She's on the outside here. She didn't break well. She tries to come widest and fastest. She's just going to fall short, but she got a very respectable 91 buyer.
Yeah, she ran a pretty fast race here. On her wrong lead here, just sort of grinding away, Dan, and she's going to make it close. At the end of this day, it's a good performance. The race comes back pretty fast. And maybe the point that you were sort of making there when we talked about the race is the major point to take away from this race, because 2 back, when they stretched her out and ran her against Ceiling Crusher, they did not let her sit. They went after Ceiling Crusher in that race, tried to bring the race to that horse, and it did not work out. I think they'll take her back here.
And I think the distance of that race, the Malaire going 1 mile and a 16th, just too far for Chismosa. She often doesn't break well from the inside post. She's going to hope that maybe there's some hitting up front to set up her late kick. She did get a fast pace to rally into in the Great Lady M. Absolutely Zero is up next. Now, we haven't seen this one since the Evening Jewel, where Ceiling Crusher crushed her by a good 20 lengths or so. It was her first start off of a lengthy layoff, however, and this filly did show some ability last year as a 2-year-old.
I mean, she did run really well. It seems like in her first 2 starts, she beat the boys in her second career start there. And then they ran her in the Grade 2 Sorrento. That was too tough for her. They came off the layoff against Ceiling Crusher, and that did not go very well. She's a stablemate of that horse. I have a feeling that Doug O'Neill knows which one is better, but he's got to run this horse somewhere. And she fits in this race. We'll see how much she can improve, Dan. She's got to improve a lot.
Here's Ceiling Crusher, 4 for 4 in her career, winning the Malaire and winning it in style. She was stretching out around 2 turns for the first time. She went right to the lead. She shook off the pace presser Chismosa, who you see tiring in second, again on her left lead. And Ceiling Crusher just goes about her business to win by 17.
Just dominated this field, and she did it. And again, it's one of those races where she did get control right from the gate, Dan, but Chismosa did try to make her race there. It's not like she just walked around the track. Chismosa pressed her up the backstretch, tried to stay with her on the second turn. It wasn't happening. She just absolutely crushed that field. I don't know what to say. She's 1-5 on the line with 2 really fast races on her card. They're going to have a tough time beating her.
Charlie had a very tough time against Ceiling Crusher in the Evening Jewel, as did Absolutely Zero. She was beaten double-digit lengths. She got a break after that race. Perhaps she comes back a little bit bigger and stronger. Like Chismosa, she did good work at Del Mar last year.
Yeah, maybe she's another one who will, just like it a little bit better over this track, and it'll make a difference. I don't usually buy into that kind of stuff, Dan, so we'll see how much of a difference it makes. I guess in her defense, 3 starts back, she didn't get totally buried by Ceiling Crusher.
Ceiling Crusher's handled the number 5 Tom's Regret a couple of times. Well beaten second in the Evening Jewel. Well beaten second in the Malaire. They found a good spot. Sons Ceiling Crusher in the Pleasanton Oaks last time out up in Northern California, and Tom's Regret did some good things at 4-5. She made the lead. She shrugged off this horse on the outside that looked for a brief instant like she was going to make a challenge, and she goes on to score. She's also cross-entered in a Del Mar race on Friday. That race is a turf sprint. She's okay sprinting on turf. It'll be interesting if they try Ceiling Crusher again.
Yeah, we'll see what she can do here. I mean, at least, when you're taking apart Tom's Regrets races, I mean, at least she has two, really, really solid efforts on her card. I mean, that one we just watched was pretty good, I thought. Even her career debut was a really, really nice performance. I think she has ability, Dan. So far, Ceiling Crusher, she just hasn't been able to go with that horse. Maybe she can make it closer this time.
Perhaps Big Pond will be a major threat to Ceiling Crusher in here. She's only raced once. Here's her career debut. State-bred maiden special going 3/4 of a mile at Santa Anita on June 16th. Big Pond showed good tactical speed in that race, kept right on going to win as much the best. Good effort for Big Pond, Mike. 85 buyer speed figure. I think she's breaking and just going to try to make the front.
I liked everything about her career debut, Dan. Not only did she get a figure for it, but she was just in hand, keeping up with that pace while a good 3 or 4 wide up the backstretch. Held her position on her own, won that race pretty easily at the end. She was a first-time starter in a big field, and just about everybody else in that field had already had a few starts under their belt. It didn't matter. She was really impressive winning that day. I think she's a legitimate threat to the favorite.
A major class test, but a respectable buyer speed figure and lots of upside. Smiling Lady completes the field. This is a 4-time winner. She scored a first-level allowance last time out at Pleasanton. She went right to the lead in that 2-turn race, and she just showed that field her heels. Now she's going to have to cut back in distance. I think she can get forwardly placed here. I think her speed plays better at longer distances against weaker competition.
I feel the same way about her. She does have that speed, though. Maybe they'll come out of there and try to get a forward position here. Her recent form is pretty good, Dan. I just didn't really feel like it made her much of a contender against this field.
Before we get to our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Hey, let's find out what Ceiling Crusher is. We take a look at our top pick. She's a really short price, but she does look like the horse to beat. I'd like to see her win off again as much the best, and maybe we try Open Company next time.
Yeah, maybe we'll get some tougher tests for her down the road, Dan. She's looked pretty good so far. She's hard to beat in here. I put the 6 second. I think she's the one. I think she has the only really legitimate chance to beat her.
If there is a really fast pace, maybe Chismosa again on the outside comes with a late run to get a piece of this. But Ceiling Crusher, just the horse to beat at a short price. Very curious to see what we get from this daughter of Mr. Big in the Fleet Treat at Del Mar on Thursday. Good luck.